The adventure has just begun, Jeff. I appreciate you making the effort. Good to meet you, man.
Same here,
All right, so that's the back. I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
You're gonna be here,
Okay.
facing forward. All right, so I'm just gonna keep going.
Oh.
Now we're ready for you.
All right.
And you just, hop in. Then I'm gonna have you grab that, coming at your feet right there.
Okay.
That's your paddle.
All right.
And first thing we'll do, we'll just use it to push ourselves off like that, exactly. First time in a canoe, let's go.
Yes, sir.
This is awesome.
Says you, the canoe master.
That's right.
Sure.
All right, so here's what you're gonna do. Look, your hand, whatever hand is on top, you put on top of the tee, right?
Okay.
So now, when I say paddle on the left,
Yep.
right, there you go. Just do that, and I'll
Okay.
just tell you left or right, and then you just switch hands.
Oh, okay.
So you want to be, Jeff, look at me. You kind of go like you don't want to lean,
Oh, okay.
but if you look at me, like I'm like vertical, like you're
Right.
trying to dig into the water as opposed to kind of like holding the paddle horizontal.
Oh, okay.
So just, like you dig like that, pull the water back, and we're gonna make it. I mean, look, it's almost like a lake. It's perfect. Right here. But man, when the river's flooding, it is a totally different animal. Did they grow up in Philly?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They were a Philly family, okay.
Yeah, yeah. The Benders were originally from ALLI.
Okay. And obviously you grew up, where'd you go to high school?
Central High School.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That was a great place.
Yeah.
My sister and I went to Penn Charter.
Oh, also a great place.
And Nat was down the street. We didn't know him at the time, but down the street at Germantown Friends.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Very small world.
I know, it's too funny, isn't it? I was just playing tennis with a friend last night who went to St. Joe's Prep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's always some good Philly connections. This is our production team coming up here.
Yeah, we do have a lot of Philadelphia expats here, I've noticed.
Really?
Yeah. I ran into somebody down in Chesterfield not too long ago who also is a...
So yeah, hold on. Claire will pull you up just a bit.
Okay.
And that way you can step out without getting wet.
Oh, that'd be great.
But congratulations on your maiden voyage.
Yes. This is the first time ever in a canoe.
Boom.
All right. I don't want to toss my host out in the water, so I'm,
Hey, it wouldn't be the first time. That's right. If
he's also my ride back, so I definitely don't want to toss him back.
That is a good point. You want to stay on that guy's good side, right? All right, we did it.
All right.
Congrats. You can leave this bad boy here.
Okay.
And the tide's actually coming up, so it'll be should be just as easy going back.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Welcome to Sharps Island.
Hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Claire and Case.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Let's go this way.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't this cool? Look at this.
Wow.
I mean, look at the city
Oh, it's beautiful.
all around us.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it's a neat place in the winter. In the summer, this feels like a lush jungle.
I'll bet.
It's a very different place, and now all of a sudden you get these cool sight lines and maybe less privacy, but more like a real sense that you're in the city.
Yeah.
But surrounded by, the James River Park. And where do you live, Jeff?
We live up in Ashland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ashland's awesome.
Center of the universe.
That's right. How long you been there?
We've been there now, it's coming up on 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't been, because you've been in Richmond longer than that, right?
I've been here, yeah. I've been here on the air 13 years.
Okay.
And for the longest time, I was doing this commute between here and Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Because we couldn't find services for my daughter, Julia. My oldest boy was on track to be the valedictorian for his high school class.
Oh, my gosh.
So we...
So, yeah, here, check out the...
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
This is neat.
Yeah, so I kind of just, for the winter and for you, of course, I got we got the wood stove going.
Oh, I appreciate it.
This was from a previous iteration of this cabin. We had like a platform and a cool canvas tent, and it got damaged in a storm. This is the third thing I've built on this spot, and but the wood stove survived, and we don't leave it here all the time just because. So this is like an Airbnb. Like people camp here all the time.
No kidding.
Like, all the time.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, but I really don't want to take any chances on
Understood.
on anyone else using a wood stove and burning down my my old friend here.
And you built it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's I started building it 2 years ago. Literally, almost exactly.
All right.
And then it took I don't know, into the next summer to finish it.
Okay.
But here, I'll give you the tour if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
We've, there's like 10 families that own the island, and we've little by little over the last 7 years done, I mean, it was just pure jungle when we first bought it. We've carved out, you know, we've got our kind of like bar, kitchen area,
Wow.
little outhouse over there.
Oh, no kidding.
We commissioned a friend of ours to do a sculpture out here.
Wow.
But it's
Oh, that is too cool.
yeah, it's a cool place. It's got a neat history. You can see here this old there was a house here that was built in 1895. You can see the foundation, literally.
Oh my gosh.
You know, before there was a flood wall.
Yeah.
Before, I mean, they must have brought every single brick over here. I've done a ton of research on it, and it's just crazy. It was like a 2-story house. They literally lived out here.
No kidding.
Lots of different people over the years. But yeah, my local artist friend, Keith Ramsey, put our friend Edwards the fisherman out here. So yeah, we have fun with it.
Holy moly.
Isn't it cool?
That is really neat. Wow. Wow. And so people come out here and they actually
People camp.
Sleeping bags and the
Yeah,
whole
they do
bit.
sleep. And you know, in the summer, like it's super busy spring into the fall. Or some people just love winter camping.
God bless them.
Yeah, God bless them. Although I'll be honest, if you have the right gear,
Yeah.
it's like, to me, summer camping when it's 80 and humid is even more miserable. But
Okay.
that's just me.
Interesting. Interesting. Pizza
but yeah.
delivery service?
Pizza, well, it's funny you say that. I've had guests tell me, they're like, yeah, I just ordered Uber Eats. I went up to, like, where you parked.
Yeah.
They'll just go pick up their Uber Eats and bring it back over in the canoe. Isn't that great?
Love it.
Because
Love it.
you're in the middle of the city.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, let's go have a chat. I don't know, did you get a chance to watch any of the other episodes? We had the mayor out here.
I did.
Andrew Frieden.
Yeah.
A lot of cool people. Ed Trask, Tim Berry. We've been having fun with it.
This is just such a neat look.
Isn't it cool?
Gosh.
Well, yeah, come on in. Let's.
All right.
Jeff, give us the sort of the thumbnail sketch, the thumbnail bio. You grew up in Philadelphia.
I did.
You were a cop in Philly.
I was.
I love the idea that now you're a radio personality. How in the world do you go from being a police officer to being a drive time radio guy?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I'd like to think it's an interesting story. Grew up in Philadelphia, never had any real intention of going into law enforcement. I was always fascinated by the field. My dad had a heart attack, and he survived, but we basically needed to help support the family.
Right.
And so that's what I did. There were folks that were hiring and police, and I became a cop, and I did that
Like
for
right
a few
out of
years.
high school? Did you go to college first?
Went to a little bit of college, and my dad's timing, as always, was spectacular.
impeccable,
So,
right.
so then I wound up as a cop for a few years. Did that. Loved it, by the way. I have to tell you
Really?
something. Saw things and did things I never
So
thought
this
I
is
would
Philly
imagine.
in the 80s, 90s?
Yeah, in the 80s.
That one
yeah.
probably was not an easy job.
Yeah, North Philadelphia, and so it was interesting and active every single tour of duty for sure.
And you're here to tell the tale, so that's a good thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then I actually got very active in the police union.
Okay.
And it's at that point that the message kind of comes across as, look, you can be as active as you want, but understand you're never getting stripes or bars or trading the blue shirt for the white shirt.
Okay.
And I had always been fascinated by radio.
Okay.
As a kid, and I used to listen to some great radio stations, WFIL and WIP, when my dad was driving me somewhere, and I loved personality on the radio.
Right.
And so I said, you know what? I'm young, unmarried, no obligations.
Right.
I took a job at a little radio station in the Atlantic City area, and a mere 37 years later, here I am.
So this is what year was that? The Atlantic City job?
Oh, goodness gracious. 84, I guess around 89, 90-ish.
What is that test like? I mean, would you call them up and say, look, I'm a police officer in Philly, like I want to be your radio?
Absolutely not. No. I saw an ad for a radio salesman. And I said, I want to be inside a radio station.
Yeah.
You know, I love WKRP.
Just loved it. Yeah.
And by the way, when I got there, every character from WKRP was represented at that radio station. Oh, absolutely.
That was Cincinnati, right? That was the show.
WKRP
That was such fun. My dad loved that show.
Oh, it's a great show. But I got the job as a radio salesman, and I got to tell you, Andy, I was the worst radio salesman in the history of radio sales. Oh, it was awful, just terrible. Had no idea what I was selling, why I was selling it, what I was doing, but I was inside a radio station. I thought, well, how cool is that?
Right.
And it was a station that played easy listening music, and it was awful music.
Yeah,
and one of our sales pieces talked about how we were the #1 radio station in funeral homes. And it's like, okay. Well, I did the sales thing for a bit and did just miserably.
Right.
And I went to our sales manager. I said, look, they're looking for an overnight guy on the radio station.
Right.
And I think that's what I'd really like to do.
Like a DJ, a talker.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was playing music. I didn't really want to play music. I never,
that wasn't what you were
that was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be on the air as a personality, but it was an entree.
Right.
And so that very entry-level music thing overnight, and Tom was the sales manager, and he had this big board with sales figures, and he did this as well. January, you sold nothing. February, nothing. March, April, nothing. I think we can get along without you.
Right.
Okay. And I went over to the on-air side. I worked 6.5 nights a week. I went in at 10 o'clock at night. I was on the air until 6 in the morning. That was Monday through Saturday. And then Sunday, I had a half a day that I worked on the air. And what was crazy, I thought I had hit the lottery. I mean, I was on the air. This was the greatest thing ever.
Could your parents hear you in Philly?
No, nobody could hear you. Nobody could hear you. That's why we were #1 in funeral homes. We weren't bothering anybody.
Could all of Atlantic City hear you? Probably not.
Maybe on a good day,
Right.
And I did that for, I guess, about a year. And I played music. And I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. I just had no interest in the music.
Yeah.
And we had an even smaller AM station next door.
Right.
I went to the general manager, a guy by the name of Dick Taylor. I said, look, Dick, I really want to do...
Early 90s at this point. Yeah.
Exactly. I really want to do talk radio.
Yeah.
And he said, well, we don't have a talk radio station. I said, I know. I have no interest really in playing the music. He said, well, here's what I'm going to do. He says, you keep doing that music show.
Right.
And by this time, it was 7 at night till midnight that I was on the air.
Slightly.
Yeah. He says, you do that. I will give you 2 hours on this AM station that we have, but you have to sell it.
Right.
And I thought, well, I failed miserably as a salesman
I suck at that.
selling music, but now I was selling myself.
Right.
Right? I was the on-air person. I was doing a talk show. And again, nobody could hear it, which was probably good because I was just trying to navigate and figure it out.
Right.
And I did that for a little bit, and then it was kind of off to the races after that.
Was there a moment there, or was it later that you realized like you had a talent for this? You're like, okay, this is A, what I love doing.
Right.
And B, other people might agree with me. They might keep hiring me to do this.
Yeah, I don't know if it was then. It might be next week that I come to that conclusion. There were a couple of moments though where I thought, okay, because I was getting feedback from people who could hear the show.
Callers.
Yeah, callers, as well as people in political life who were not crazy about things that I was saying or.
So it was a political show from the start.
Yeah, well, issues, it wasn't necessarily this team good, that team bad kind of stuff, but yeah, always about issues. And
you weren't doing like zany DJ type stuff, prank calls and Howard Stern stuff.
No. I was always a real talk radio person. That's what I was destined to be, really.
What you were drawn to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so from there, where'd you go?
Oh, man.
How does that, you're always trying to find a bigger market, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It is all about, certainly at that time, if you want to get better, you got to get bigger. You want to get bigger, you got to get better.
Right.
So I began really chasing markets.
Okay.
And I wound up, I was in Connecticut. I wound up taking a job in Cincinnati, interestingly enough.
That's cool.
And by the time I got to Cincinnati after the first week, my first staff meeting was when they announced the radio station had been sold and everybody was out of work.
1 week.
So 1 week.
Wait.
I had literally arrived, been looking at places to live, where, rental, and that very first staff meeting was, thanks.
You're fired.
Get out.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Indianapolis was after that. California was in the mix.
So it's just constant hustle.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the nature of that.
That is the
world.
nature of it, certainly in that time frame.
Yeah.
And also the technology was such that you had to be where you were broadcasting.
Right.
Now, that's not the case in 2025 heading into 2026, not at all.
Right.
You can be anywhere, really, and do a show just about anywhere else. But, I was, again, single, no real obligations except to myself.
Right.
I was rapidly becoming the biggest Jeff Katz fan in the world. And I thought, well, yeah, this is it. And so
I love me.
Everybody ought to take a
yeah.
piece, you know? And I went market to market, and I enjoyed that. But, you also get to a point where you say, okay, I've got friends across the country. I can go anywhere now in the country and pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, I'm in town.
Right.
You want to get dinner?
Right.
Can I sleep on your couch? Can you help me out with a little project? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you do get to a point, at least for me, I wanted some degree of stability, some degree of family, and started looking at things a little bit differently.
Where were you then? So so Indianapolis, let's see, it was 13 years ago. So what between then and Richmond? Like, how many places how many cities
I have no idea. I
You
really don't know because people ask for dates. When were you? I can give you a ballpark. I can tell you how old my boys were when they were bar mitzvahed. I can
Things
tell you
that were happening in the world at the time.
I can't tell you I showed up on July the 2nd in Indianapolis. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's out there somewhere, I'm sure.
Did you work? You worked in San Francisco.
I
right?
worked in San Francisco.
Charlotte?
Yeah.
Man.
But what happened was, a number of years ago, we went back to Boston. I had done mornings at WRKO in Boston, which is just a legendary radio station. And that's where I met Heidi, who is my wife.
Right.
And we got married. And very shortly after that, we moved to Las Vegas for a job and started a family.
Okay.
My oldest boy was born in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And we eventually wound up back in Boston doing mornings again. And that was right before Richmond. About 14 years ago, the radio company that owned the station in Boston decided we're not going to own it anymore. We're just going to, it was expensive, we're not going to do it. And so I had a friend of mine who was actually the national program director, Ken Charles, who is actually, in all candor, he is the best program director in the history of talk radio. There's just nobody better than Ken.
Yeah.
And Ken said on the phone one day, he says, so have you ever thought about Richmond? And I said, no. He said, have you ever been to Richmond? I said, I've been through Richmond.
Right.
I can tell you that there's some big cigarette-looking things on the side of the highway. And other than that, I think I've been to a rest stop or something. He said, well, we got a radio station there, WRVA. It is a heritage station. It's a legendary station. Right. We need an afternoon guy.
It's a big boy, too, right?
It is, it's a big
50,000
player.
watts, right? Yeah.
And he said, would you be interested? And I said, well, let me talk to some folks. Let me see what's down there. Fell in love with the community.
That's cool.
And then spent a good amount of time trying to figure out where we were going to be. Now, we have all, as a family, lived here for going on 6 years up in Hanover County in Ashland. But for almost 7 years, I did this commute between Richmond and Boston.
Right.
Because my daughter is severely disabled, and we had to find the right services, the right school division that would help her.
It's not as simple as just picking up.
No. It wasn't like, when I was a young single guy who said, sure, I'll be there Thursday. No worries. Here's the keys to the old place. Let me get some keys to the new place.
Right.
And then my oldest boy, who's a Stanford grad, I try to work that into every conversation. Not sure that I can ever take the tuition off the taxes, although it's related to work, right? I get to talk about it.
Right.
It doesn't help.
That'd be a stretch.
It was,
a stretch.
Yeah. But he was on track to be the valedictorian of his high school class, and I wasn't going to pick him up and move him and have him lose that. So I did this commute, which was kind of crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So you're just flying back and forth from Boston.
Yeah, I did a lot of driving.
Okay.
And
at that point in radio generally, and someone like this, you've built a brand, right?
Yep.
Like this is what year was that? 2013? No, like 2013.
Now you're doing math. 2013, 2012, something like that.
Okay, so somewhere in there, the Jeff Katz brand is known.
Yes.
And what you do is what you bring with you, right? Like
That's
you're not trying to do something different in a different market. So I'm curious what like has that changed over time, or have you always been has your style been the same?
I think earlier on in my career, it was much more confrontational.
Okay.
It was.
Was that more standard then? I'm trying to remember. I mean, like like you said, Rush Limbaugh
Yeah,
was big.
Yeah, I mean,
Howard Stern.
it was a Rush thing. You had Howard Stern, who, despite what people think, is an amazing broadcaster and changed broadcasting. Some would argue not necessarily for the better, but he certainly changed it.
The shock jock personality guy, right?
So there was there were a few dollops of that in there, and then you had some of the guys like Bob Grant in New York City or Irv Homer in Philadelphia, where there was certainly more yelling. There was a lot of yelling at that point. A lot of "you're an idiot, I don't want to talk to you, get off the phone
like
line."
Disparaging callers.
Yeah, there
was
was a lot of that, and that was just part of what it was. In the year 2025 now, I got to tell you, I see myself more as part of this community than I do necessarily the radio guy. Look, I have a brand. I have a track record. If I decide tomorrow I want to go to another radio station somewhere else, I can pick up the phone and say, "Hey,
you'd find one."
Yeah, we want to move to, I don't know, West Palm Beach. What do you got?
Whatever.
Yeah, Albuquerque. KOB, great radio station, by the way, at Albuquerque.
You've probably already been there.
And Pluribus. Do you watch Pluribus?
No, I've heard about it. That's the Vince Gilligan.
Yes.
That's the Richmond guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
Right?
You think we could get him out here?
If he comes out, then I'll come out.
Okay, let's do both shows. The Jeff Katz show.
I'd love to do that. Now,
I have the Starlink. Like we can broadcast. Yeah, we got Wi-Fi out here.
All right.
Like you could absolutely do the Jeff Katz show from out here.
All right. Well, I would do that.
Maybe in the summer when it's warm.
Oh yeah, I'm not coming back when it's cold. I'll tell you that right now. I love you, man, but
nice,
not a chance.
Put your hand here.
No. And you know, Vince Gilligan has another great connection. Brock's Barbecue down in Chester.
Okay.
Okay. The father there was a state trooper, and Vince Gilligan used to live, I don't want to say right next door, but very close to the Brock family. And he used to ask the state trooper all sorts of questions. He wanted to know all about police work and what was involved in investigations. And so when you watch some of his products, like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, it's like, oh, you know what? That's kind of a little nod to former Trooper Brock right there.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. You were telling us that you broadcast from your house. You've got a studio set up there.
Yes, sir.
What's something listeners would be surprised to learn about, like how a daily talk show is made? You're on 3 to 6, right? 3 to 6
p.m. I am on 3 to 6 every afternoon, WRVA, 96.1 on the FM. Got to give it a plug, 11:40 a.m., the Odyssey app, anywhere you are. But, my day, I'm happy to say, begins with making lunch for my daughter, Julia, packing it for her to, she goes off. She's got a day program she goes to.
Okay.
I get to work from my home studio.
Right.
And so
How much prep is there? Hours?
Hours
of prep.
Everything is prep.
Yeah.
You are prep right now. I will be discussing this
that's awesome.
when we are on the air.
I love
Guaranteed. But yeah, there is a lot of prep, and you have to realize what it is that's important to your listener. Right. Is my listener today concerned strictly with the weather? You and I both know snow in Central Virginia is a huge deal.
Right.
And when you come from elsewhere and you're trying to explain to people such as my wife or my sons who grew up in Boston, right? A foot of snow is like, man, that's a pain. Let's keep going.
You can't just stop your life.
You don't. And when I can remember telling my little guy when he was, I don't know, 10 years old or something, hey, Joe, we got an inch of snow here. And his response was, and? I said, schools will be closed for a week. He was livid. He said, they will not. I said, oh, they will. They will. So it's very different. So, during the winter, snow is a huge issue. Weather is a huge issue here. It impacts us.
But do you spend, I mean, obviously, you have people talking, like you have a weather forecaster, right? Who's going to like break in and say things. But then is that what you talk about with callers? Or is it mostly political?
No.
Is it a lot of local issues?
Oh, yeah.
Like most of it?
Most of it would be local.
Right.
There are a lot of people covering national things, and I'm certainly happy to talk about them, and we do. But again, if you're in Midlothian and you've got 4 inches of snow, you've got issues that you are addressing there. Where is VDOT? Are they getting to the secondary roads? Are neighborhood streets going to be cleared? what's going on with the schools. And so those are issues that arise. Prices. You know, everybody's got to go to the supermarket.
I can only imagine we're almost the year anniversary. The Richmond water crisis must have just been wall to wall for you guys.
Gigantic. Yeah. But I'll tell you what we did. We also organized on the air to get pallets of water. People who were listening to my show said, "Look, I'm in Williamsburg. I'm at the store. There are pallets of water. What do you want me to do?"
Right.
And so there were people who bought them.
That's really cool.
I teamed up with Riva Trammell from the Richmond City Council.
Right.
She picked them up and got them out to people in her community who had no water.
That's cool.
So, I mean, to me, that's a win. That's a big thing.
I feel like maybe, you tell me, seems like probably the biggest story you've ever been a part of is this drunk raccoon in the Ashland ABC. And that's close to home. Is that around the corner?
That is my ABC.
That's you.
Are you kidding me?
Is there anything better than that picture?
There's nothing better than little Rocky Raccoon. I love him. And I looked at that picture, and before I knew it was the Ashland store, now maybe 12 Step is in my future, I don't know. But I turned to my wife and said, "Heidi, that's our store."
That's our ABC.
And then I'm looking, wait a minute. Is he in the Deep Eddy Peach section? Because if he is, I'm going to be angry. That's my drink right there. Fortunately, he had sampled a few other things.
Oh, my God.
And what was the next big question after that? They got a bathroom in there. I never knew that. Nobody ever lets us use the bathroom at the ABC stores. So
I'm not sure I could get enough of that story.
It is fantastic.
That was amazing.
It's fantastic. And all the merchandising now. We got Hanover County's Animal Service.
Have they started selling merch?
$200,000 they have raised. I can just tell you, I did not get my shirt yet, but I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought one for winter, bought one for summer as well.
Who does the money go to? Like Animal Control?
Yeah,
in Hanover?
County Animal Services. Isn't that great?
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Did you see the SNL sketch?
Yes.
Of the raccoon?
Yeah, I did.
They did? Oh my God, I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah.
Is it?
That has to be. I'm so proud.
Yeah.
Richmond has made it.
I'm watching all
Right,
the time,
right.
But to see something from my hometown.
Oh, it's
I was just like,
fantastic.
finally, who on the staff is from Virginia?
That's right.
Who do I need to talk to?
That's right.
That's crazy.
We need more raccoon stories.
That's right.
So good. But that's a good a segue into Richmond stories generally. I mean, you talk to Richmonders every day.
Yeah.
What is it like? Yeah, there's, at least once a week, someone will be like, "Oh, that's so Richmond." But whatever it is, like for me, in the last week, it's been the fact that the Nickel Bridge was closed for like 7 days.
Right.
I live right there, and you're like, "Oh my God, what for 1 inch of snow?"
Yeah.
You know, is there something that like, to you is like people talk about a topic or a way that people discuss things that you're like, "Oh my God, that's so Richmond"?
Yeah, I think there's still, for a few generations back, there's kind of a provincial attitude for Richmond. You know, there was that whole idea that there were come-heres and from-heres, right? And it didn't matter when you came here, you never were really from here. And I think now, certainly even during the time that I've been here, there's been a change in that. There are a lot of people that have come to Central Virginia from outside the area.
I wonder if COVID contributed to that as well.
Absolutely.
Like...
Oh, well, look at Scott's Addition.
Yeah.
How many folks looked at Scott's Addition and said, geez, this, by comparison to Brooklyn, very
cheap,
friendly rents
cool.
and fees, but it's got a vibe, it's got a feel. So I think that's why you've seen Scott's Addition jump up so fast. And even some of the stuff, if you go along Broad Street, that whole VCU corridor, things have changed a great deal. So I think that's, quote, very Richmond. But I think there are also issues that have stayed very Richmond. RPS is a big one, you know. For me, it's fascinating because since I got here, Doug Wilder, former governor, has been just a great friend to the show. He's a regular guest. We love each other. We joke about different sides of political affiliation or what have you, and he'll always ask about my sons and ask how my other two favorite Democrats are. And it's like, yeah, they're fine, your governorship. It's all good. But we both share a passion for RPS and would like to see those kids get a break. You know, RPS has as long as I've been here, either been going through superintendents or underfunded, not served properly. And it's a terrible disservice, I think, to those kids. And I don't think that's a political issue. I think that's just, hey, two guys
find
like
the
Jeff
resources?
Katz and Doug Wilder, who are not on the same political team,
Right.
look at that and say, we got to fix that. There's something wrong there. Let's deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you I mean, I would imagine it's sort of a two-way relationship with listeners, right? Like they're your lifeblood. That's why you can do what you do.
Sure.
Do you do those conversations drive what you're going to talk about? Like when you start the day and you're doing prep, are you thinking about like what people have been talking about the past few weeks, or are you like, no, I want to talk about this? Like, do you sort of drive the conversation?
It's a little bit of each. Primarily, look, it's the Jeff Katz show, and if it's not working, Jeff Katz has to do something about it, right? So I've got to be the driving force. However, there are certain things that are happening in Central Virginia that you just know everybody's tied into. The raccoon was the story, and I love the raccoon, and we all did it. We all bought into it, right? I mean, we're all thinking about that.
100%.
Proud of that it's on SNL and all the rest of this. So that's an issue everybody wanted to get in on. And then, if you want to talk about Richmond, there were people who reached out, social media, texts, what have you, saying, wait a minute, now you keep talking about this trashed panda. How stupid are you? That's a raccoon. It's like, okay. South of the Mason-Dixon line generally, and definitely in Central Virginia, that is a trash panda.
Right,
that's exactly why it is what it is.
Right.
And there were people livid. I mean, Andy, they were angry. Like, I used to like listening to your show, but you're just a moron. I just cannot believe that you think that's a panda. It's like, all right, people. You know what I mean?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't.
Appreciate you listening.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll
check
talk
in a couple of days. It'll probably not be the story of the day,
What's like, I mean, in the world of podcasts and TikTok and just kind of shrinking attention spans, how do you, is it more of a challenge now to make live radio matter? How do you, like, how has that changed?
Yeah, well, a lot of it has changed. Certainly the technology has changed.
Right.
Again, whether you are local or are you coming in from somewhere else, you got a lot of syndicated shows that have really grown throughout the years, and they're less expensive than local shows, so radio stations like that. The other thing is that you are competing with other spoken word projects. Right? I happen to love podcasts. I don't listen to any podcasts that relate to issues, politics.
You're trying to get a different fix with your podcasts.
I do a lot of true crime stuff. I do a lot of theology. I mean, stuff that a lot of people just would not expect.
Island-based podcasts,
Absolutely.
that kind of thing.
Yeah. I again, people have to understand, and I don't know that you fully appreciate this,
Maybe not.
because I think Nat lied to you when he said Jeff would be perfect for this. My nickname for myself, Andy, is the Great Indoorsman. I am great on a couch with a beverage and a snack. I think the great outdoors.
That's your happy place.
Yeah, the great outdoors is something you pass through on your way from the cab to the hotel.
Right.
So the fact that I'm here says a lot, man. I'm just
Pretty
telling
amazing.
you. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't be more honored, obviously, and I appreciate your cousin, my brother-in-law. Making it happen. So attention. I mean, you're competing. What about the national? I feel like national voices dominate even more. Maybe they always did. It feels like they dominate even more now than they have. Is that competition too?
I think at this point everything is competition, because we talk about radio and we talk about broadcasting, but the reality is we're delivering content. In the modern age, everybody is a content developer and a content deliverer. What is your platform? Well, it includes radio, it includes TV, it includes video, it includes the written word. So you are competing with everybody. And some of the long-form podcasts, I think, are fantastic. I think Joe Rogan is fascinating. Theo Vaughn is another one that is
Theo Vaughn.
right. Great stuff. Yeah. So these are all other people saying things and speaking words.
Right.
We in radio, live radio, you actually have an opportunity to interact with people, which you still don't get with podcasts.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think that's a valuable part of it. I don't know how long it lasts. I know for my generation that grew up listening to great radio personalities, it's always going to be part of it.
Right.
But I always try and sort of do things with my son's point of view, right? 24 and 21. How are you consuming content?
Right.
You know, I was
Right.
a columnist for the Boston Herald.
Okay.
And so I'd be excited when I would have a column on the front page of the Boston Herald.
yeah.
And I'd come home and it'd be exciting. And my boys, even at that age, tiny little guys, were like, well, why didn't you just read it online the other day?
Right.
It's like, knuckleheads, look, it's the
Right.
paper. Here, you can
Isn't
do
this cool?
this to
Look.
it, you can shake it.
Just showed up at our house.
It's
Isn't
just
that
making
cool?
my hands dirty. It's
Right,
like,
right.
oh, okay. But it changes. Look, the way
Right.
people consume things changes. So yeah, we're definitely competing with everybody. I'd like to think that we're better in a lot of areas. We are, again, for me anyway, local. If the Raccoons the story or the Nickel Bridge is shut, I am talking about
Right.
it. Joe Rogan may mention the raccoon. He's not going to spend a lot of time telling you
right.
that when you go to the Ashland ABC, there's a great place you know, there's a Food Lion next door, there's a DMV right there. Make sure you organize it properly so you don't go to the
Right.
DMV after the ABC
Right,
store.
and don't try and
you
use
know.
the bathroom in the ABC. It's only
Don't
for,
do that.
for
That's
raccoons.
only for
and-
raccoons.
Right.
That's right. So it's just different ways that people consume things. But I'd like to
Right.
think when it comes to Central Virginia issues, you know, we got it.
You talked about you and Doug Wilder being from different teams. I feel
Yeah.
like these days it feels like they're tribes even more
Yeah.
than teams, you know?
Yeah.
Which, and like I feel wistful about that too, or maybe a little sad because it does feel so tribal. But how did your political viewpoint, like when did that sort of develop and you realized like this was kind of going to be the angle you took?
Well, I grew up
In radio.
Yeah, well, I grew up in Philadelphia, right? Oxford Circle. So everybody was a Democrat. There wasn't really an option for anything else.
Right.
I didn't meet a Republican, I think, until I was like 18 years
Right,
old.
right.
So I didn't know anything about that. And even when I was working as a police officer, the longest time in radio, I don't know that I thought about politics specifically or these labels. I mean, I had what I had, but when I got to do drive time radio, and I was on the air in Connecticut, and I was on in the afternoon, again, 3 to 6, and right before me was Rush Limbaugh.
Right.
Now, Rush was always a national show at that point, but
Right.
Rush used to do these great little promos for local people.
Right.
So one of the promos he did for me was, coming up next is Jeff Katz, a conservative Democrat. Because when people talked about politics, that's how I always described myself.
Right.
I was a conservative, like Scoop Jackson kind of
Right.
lunch bucket Democrat. So he said, and coming up next is Jeff Katz, a conservative Democrat. Ha! There is no such thing. And I thought about it. I was like, wow, that's a great promo. We're going to play the heck
Right,
out of
take
that
it.
for
I love
sure.
it.
I love it. I got Rush Limbaugh talking for me. Wonderful.
Right.
But it was sort of after that point I started thinking, yeah, you know what? A lot of stuff I believe in, not really the case anymore. And you're right. There's now been almost a devolution,
Right.
in large part for a lot of political people,
Right.
into more of a tribal sort of thing. And
Right.
and you find the extremists everywhere kind of owning the territory.
Right.
You know, you look at America historically, we're fundamentally a middle-of-the-road country.
Right.
We lean a little left, we lean a little right, everybody
But we
gets
generally
their
don't go
chance.
too far,
Yeah,
right.
it's like a pendulum. But, you know, the further you swing it one way or the other, the further the response is going to be.
So is your approach to try and, like, where are you trying to be on that pendulum swing as a radio show? Where do you want your radio show to be?
I want everybody to be comfortable coming to the show and listening and participating.
Right.
I'm not going to lie to anybody about what I believe or why I think what they believe is wrong.
Are you trying to have a conversation with people?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not always. Sometimes it's a conversation, and sometimes it probably feels more like, hey, sit back and take some notes, because this is why you're wrong on this issue. You know, more like a class maybe
Yeah.
than a conversation. But yeah, ultimately, we have fun on the show.
Right.
Even if we're talking about serious issue, there's a fun element.
Do you bring on Democrats?
Sure.
Well, Doug Wilder.
Yeah, Doug
is
Wilder.
on the show all the time.
I mean, Reva Trammell
I mean,
was a regular guest.
that
Yeah.
contrast, that sort of possible conflict or confrontation has got to be fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
It is. And when you can have a conversation with a guy, again, like Doug Wilder,
Right.
who at 94 years of age is sharp as a tack, smarter than anybody else in whatever room he's in. I don't care who else is in the room.
Right.
Doug Wilder's the smartest guy in that
Right.
room, who is also one of the nicest, kindest, most humble human beings, and funny. He is legitimately funny. So we can have these conversations. We can disagree on certain issues or certain tactics, but we also know we've got a lot in common.
Right.
And again, a shared love for kids that are in the RPS system who are not getting a fair shake.
Right.
And to have that agreement where you're saying it's not a political issue, gang.
Right.
You either care about these kids or you don't care about these kids. Just be honest about it.
Right.
If you want to say, I don't care about them, all right, I think that says a lot about you, but at least you're being honest. And if you want to say that you care about them, okay, then take off whatever party label you have or team jersey you're wearing and say, how do we get these kids a better education?
Right.
Yeah.
I really do feel like a rotisserie chicken. This is amazing. I used to be the, years ago, I was the outdoors columnist for the Times-Dispatch.
I read your column.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you first got here, I would have been, that was like right at the end of when, it was like 2007 to 13.
Okay,
I was the outdoors guy. But I think, you know, the indoorsman would be a good column. You know, like, if newspapers were a thing anymore, that would be. I mean, it's sad.
You still go to the driveway on Monday and go, oh, right, yeah, I forgot about that.
Well, I mean, we do. I do, for that exact reason, my wife and I love, like, we get the Wall Street Journal. I love
Same here.
something coming in the mail, but they're, like, making it really hard. They're like, oh, we don't deliver on Mondays anymore. You're going to get your Monday paper on Tuesday.
That's what happened. That's what we get.
Happened to you?
We get it's the Wall Street Journal.
Right.
And we get we get the Monday and the Tuesday on Tuesday.
I'm like, what? It's like they're going to force me to go digital only, and I hate that. How would I start a fire?
That's
you know, I mean, come on. All right, rapid fire.
Yes, sir.
We'll have a little fun. You know, obviously that was serious stuff before. This is when the fun
This is good.
All right, what's the worst live on-air moment you've had?
It was trying to have a discussion with Jay Leno. Jay Leno, who I loved as a comedian, loved as host of the Tonight Show, was one of the singularly worst interviews on air ever.
Why?
Nothing. Nada. Not funny, not interesting, not personable.
Just didn't have anything to say?
Nothing at all.
What market were you in?
That would have been Las Vegas. And it was awful. But he ended it by saying, hey, why don't you and your wife come to the show tonight? And I said, okay.
At least I'll get something out of
it.
Right.
We went to the show, met him backstage. He was incredible. I think he just needed to be in his element.
Yeah.
You know, that
fascinating.
Being on my show was not the Tonight Show. It was bad.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's very
really
strange.
bad.
Like there's people like that in show business where it's like, I guess he just chose not to flip the switch that day and be like, you know, zany comedian
I don't
guy.
know,
That's
but,
weird.
Super nice guy, I got to say, when we met him personally, and funny as all get out.
Just
but
atrocious on the air.
Atrocious, worst interview ever.
Have you ever been on the air for any massive news events? Were you on the air for 9/11?
I was.
Oh, wow.
I
So you were a morning guy at that point.
I was a morning guy. I was a morning guy in Las Vegas, in fact.
You were in Las Vegas,
Yeah,
okay.
and I can remember the night before, we had a Monday night football party for the radio station, so I was out late. I didn't get home till about 1 or so in the morning. I was up at 3 and at the radio station. I remember saying to my producer, it's going to be awful today because I'm exhausted and there's nothing to talk about. And right at the beginning of the show, 6 o'clock Vegas time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, he said, hey, a plane just hit the World Trade Center.
Right.
And so I'm thinking like little Piper Cub out of Teterboro.
Like we all did, right? Yeah.
And I said, well, turn on the TV. We didn't have the TV on at that point. And I wound up being on the air that day until, gosh, I think it was probably 20, 24 hours straight on the air.
No way.
We were the source of information.
Right.
And there were so many people who didn't know what was going on, didn't know what was happening. Should they be flying back to the East Coast? What about family? We had family in Brooklyn, in fact.
Right.
Well, her cell phone was out, so my wife was crazy trying to get in touch. Yeah.
What about the Richmond water? Were you on the air when that started coming down?
Oh, absolutely. And you'll remember that was right at the time when the mayor was still getting he's the new mayor.
Yeah, it was January 6th.
Yeah, I mean, he was there a couple of days. He didn't know where the bathroom was at City Hall, let alone how to fix everybody else's bathroom.
Right.
So I felt a little bad for him that it was a baptism by fire, but it was missing the water.
Right.
And So we tried on the show, honestly, to coordinate, as I said, with people who were outside the area to bring water into the area.
Any others come to mind? Any big events?
Yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of them.
The O.J. Simpson chase?
O.J. Simpson was
the classic.
O.J. was the first big thing that I did in talk radio.
Really?
Yeah.
The chase, because that's my favorite. Of the whole saga, Al Cowlings and O.J. Chase, I remember sitting there watching, but they, like, you know, the NBA Finals were on, and they broke into that, and it was like, what are we watching?
Yeah.
What is happening? And then to think about how that would all go down.
Yeah.
So you covered that.
I covered O.J. I covered, I was in California at the time. Covered a big earthquake. If you remember, there was the like the Bay World Series kind of stuff going on. I was there for that. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So there.
It's like '88 maybe.
Yeah. Stuff in Florida. I was in Florida for a bit, and you know, hurricanes, and seems to come back to weather a lot of the time.
All right. What? Pick one. Perfect caller, perfect rant, or perfect guest. Which makes the best show?
All right, I'm going with perfect rant because that means I did something right.
That involves Jeff Katz
Yeah, that
the
involves
most.
me.
Right,
the other two I don't really have control over. I can't fix them.
What's your if I say what's your favorite rant? Just recent rant, any rant. Well, like what were you going off on recently?
Well, number one, I wanted to make sure that trashed panda was not getting my Deep Eddy peach infused vodka. That was number one. And that devolved into a whole slew of things. Letting people know why there are not really any good Hanukkah songs.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'm Jewish, and I'm here to tell you, our guys were writing your songs. You got the good ones.
I just read that. I was just reading an article about that. Yeah. Now,
White Christmas, Rudolph. They're all Jewish guys. They had nothing left for us except, well, we're going to do dreidel again.
Hold on. Adam Sandler has produced Hanukkah Genius.
He has. I'm giving him that one.
You're right, it's one song.
It's one song. That's it, yeah.
It's really amazing.
It is.
What hill, give me a hill you die on that has nothing to do with politics. Gets you fired up, but it's not political.
Taking care of law enforcement officers as an ex-cop, I will do anything and everything to help them. I go out, I lecture to police academies still.
Okay.
I have worked as a volunteer peer counselor in law enforcement for 35 years. Wherever I go, I am there. And also, honestly, being an advocate for disabled folks. Right. Drawn to it because of my daughter Julia, and also Nathaniel and I shared an Aunt Ethel, who was severely disabled, mentally disabled. And so I will absolutely die on that hill. You betcha.
What at the end of the day, what do you hope Richmonders take away from spending an afternoon with you?
I'd like to think they've got a laugh. Right. I'd like to think that they got some piece of information they didn't necessarily know at the beginning. Right. And I say to the folks who work on the show, I'm a lot closer to the end than I am the beginning with this whole broadcasting thing, with radio, with everything else. So I want to help people. Right. I legitimately want to help people at the station if they're looking to do something bigger. Right. I want to help people, in this community. Right. Because I love this community. Yeah. And I'd like to think that people can say, you know, I listen to Jeff Katz. Man, I don't agree with him and such. But when the water went out, he was helping us get water. And it was important to listen to him. Yeah, and there's resources there, and he's got good people who are having a good time on that show, and it's a smile at the end of the day. That's great. Yeah. Awesome. I love that stuff. Yeah. And you got me outside. I mean, this is big. This, again, first time in a canoe. In a canoe. Yeah. That's, I mean, maybe add that to your LinkedIn. I've now been in a canoe. Absolutely. Yeah. Education, training, move it out of the way, man. Get it out of there. I am the canoe guy. Yeah, Instagram bio, everything. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you, my friend. That was fun.